Warning, this video is intended for adult collectors. It contains plastic collectibles, questionable opinions, and the guy who should be working on Plastic Addict. Incoming random review in 3, 2, 1.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the TJOmega channel, and how have I never done this video before? So this was a Patreon request. Someone actually asked me to review a Computron. And I technically did a Computron video not long ago, but you know what, that's not really in the spirit of the video request, so I'm going to do it properly. But to do an entire combiner team in one review is asking a lot. You are technically asking for 6 toys in one. I have added a new rule to the video requests, but there is a way we can do this in the span of a single random review, and that is to review the G1 Technobots, which my set is mostly complete outside of the large rifle. And, yeah, my Scattershot, as you can see, has definitely seen better days. We'll go ahead and set him aside. We'll talk about him later on. Let us focus on, let's see. I will admit, some of these have survived my childhood, and they are in worse condition than the others. And because of that, we will get them out of the way. Afterburner was always one of my favorites as a kid. I love this design of futuristic motorcycle. I love the big guns he comes with. It was just a really cool looking vehicle. And yeah, unlike a lot of motorcycle toys I had as a kid, it is actually, dog hair, it is actually thick enough on the wheels to actually stand up on its own. Now, to roll, it does have a couple extra wheels down here, which kind of lets it cheat, but you get the point. Bright orange plastic, looking really good. A little bit of off-white for the windshield as well as the front end. Keep in mind, 40-year-old toys. Some of them are a little bit yellowed in spots here and there, so the colors might not be entirely accurate. Also, there is going to be stickers missing. You know, this is a set that survived a lot of play. Yeah, but we still love it for what it is, you know. Now, if I remember right, I want to say this could actually plug into the front if you want a front-mounted gun. So that is an option, should you choose to exercise it. If you want to have a little bit of fun, you can also take this off. There's a gun in the back for that one too, but that one doesn't work quite as well. Not quite. Maybe that way. So he's got a little bit more play to his guns. Now, in robot mode, he can't quite use the big guns, but hey, it is what it is. So he double hinges all the way around on very stiff old joints, so I'm being a little bit careful here. Rotate the arms down, rotate that back, clip, flip, and that is the robot mode transformation. And I think the Technobots are another one of my favorites, not only because of the look and the variety of them, but also because these are going to be very clever in how they transform. It's not like aerial bots or Stunticons that all kind of feel the same when you transform them. These guys have a lot of good variety to them. Love the overall design on him. The silver and orange work for me a lot. You know, I like, I even like the weirdness. I think the backpack works for me. There's a couple oddities about this one. I mean, overall, like, I do think he looks really, really good. Like, proportionally, he's really nice. He has one oddity I've never quite figured out, which is the fact that he has an extra combiner tab. So he's going to use his head, you know, in order to combine for both arm and leg mode. But he has this extra one down here, and I'm not entirely sure why. I've never quite figured that one out. But yeah. That's Afterburner. I can equip him. Aside from the 2 massive guns he comes with in vehicle mode, he does have a standard pistol that he can also hold. Gives him a little bit of armament. So yeah, not a bad little G1 toy. And yeah, I think better than some of the others that come out in the Scramble City style. We'll do Nosecone next, and Nosecone's always the oddity where everyone else is rocking reds and whites, and, you know, maybe a little occasional orange. Yellow and dark brown is the name of the game for Nosecone. Looking like a really nice drill tank. And the thing that a lot of people and a lot of later toys get wrong about his drill tank mode is the fact that he's a lot more vertical than a lot of people remember. So, like, most of the modern attempts don't really capture that really well. I think it does make him look really nice and unique. You know, he does have wheels underneath the tread, so he can technically roll. And these are his individual guns that can be removed as well. And we'll go ahead and do that now so you can get a cleaner look at him. I do like that his cockpit is just like that bright orange. It's a little hit that kind of brings him in line with the orange hits on the other Technobots. Just to give you like a little bit of a through line between them all. Like, I really like him. I think he stands out a lot. It's just unique. Alright, so again, I'm going to be careful with very old toys. Flip that nose cone down. Going to raise the arms like this. Lower them like so. Going to finish flipping the legs out, which is a very stiff piece, so I'm being very careful. And that is Nosecone's robot mode. Yeah, so G1 toy, obviously, he's going to have a lot of junk to him, but I don't think it looks too bad. He's definitely got a little bit more of a brute look to him than the others. I think the face could have done with a little bit of different color of paint. I think the orange kind of blends to the yellow maybe a little bit too much, which might be the fault of the yellow for being so rich. Obviously, I think also there's some sticker detail missing off of mine that would make him a little bit more interesting visually. But I do like that the yellow carries through all the way to the legs. I like that the brown comes through, and like the off-white is kept as just the chest. It's not a bad look. Not a bad look at all. His weapon, he does also have a pistol. All of them have like little pistol weapons. It's a weird fit because these all peg in sideways, but we do what we must because that's G1 engineering, right? So, we put him aside, and then we move on to Lightspeed, one of my favorite toys as a kid. This is the one I picked up a lot. This was my like go-to Autobot. I love the look of the vehicle mode, guns or otherwise. Super sleek, futuristic car. Looks like a lot of things I saw on other cartoons. Yeah, I love the look of this vehicle. Absolutely love it. Big canopy. You wonder my obsession with dome racers. There you go. Silver for the headlights too, which is nice. They could have like easily gone with the same white. Mixed it up a little bit. Nice to see. Also, the stickers almost survived on mine. So you can at least see a little bit of what the detail was supposed to be. If we take off the guns as well, you get to see a little bit more of his working detail. Yeah, it's just a super cool little mini, super futuristic car. I really, really like this design a lot. Transformation's also a little more interesting than most would give it credit for. So, pull out the legs like that. I need to flip out the feet, which to do that, I first need to pull them out. Whoop. Hopefully they don't come off the hinge like that. It is an old toy. I'm going to fold them down like so. Arms are going to rotate down from the back side, which I really like how the arms aren't just like tucked into the side. They actually fold up to the back and make like the rear fenders. Is a little nice touch. And then a double hinge to reveal the head. And there you go. So he's got kind of a wheeljack look to him in the robot mode, with that canopy forming the belly and the front end forming the feet. So he does have kind of a classic Autobot look despite the simple transformation and small size. Yeah, still really like this. So head, I like the visor and the silver. Works for me quite a bit. You can see a little bit of a stress mark starting to form on the neck, but as long as I'm not like flailing my Computron around, that shouldn't be too much of a worry. Again, I feel like without the stickers, I am missing quite a bit of detail here. I will admit, without them, he does look a little bit plain with all the red, but I still like the overall look and vibe of the toy. Like, he's still one of my favorites. Just mess with if I have the chance. Where is his gun? Where is his gun? I get confused because like his gun, his weapons are actually gray, which is not a color that features on him except for the tires. He gets this like little Uzi weapon, which is so weird. I also like how most of these also have like standard direction pins, so like other characters can hold them if they want, or you can just like side shoot. If you want to look cool in the movie, you hold the weapon sideways and then hit absolutely nothing because you can't stop the recoil in this position. So at least Lightspeed is trying. At least he's trying to be cool. I think he's cool. And last for the limb characters, here is Strafe. Super cool jet fighter, I think. He does kind of fall into a category that is very, very rare in Transformers, which is a vehicle mode that realizes they don't need a cockpit because a human is not going to fly them. I don't know why that's such a big deal to me, but it is. Granted, if he had the stickers, maybe there's a detail for that, but on first glance, no. Nothing. I do like the extension guns on the front. It does give him a nice, like, dual nose cone look. You know, it's a little bit ahead of, a little bit, oh man, I blanked on his name, Slugslinger. A little bit ahead of Slugslinger in that design. Look how clean he is, too. Like, he's flat. He is flat. Thrusters in the back as well. Very, very nice look. We're going to transform. We pull those out. We fold the wings back, like so. Pulling the legs down, revealed the fists, and I need to rotate things around to reveal the head. It's easier to do it this way, rather than try to flip the headpiece section up. Just kind of let the whole thing rotate, and then bring the arms around. There we go. And that's going to be the robot mode. Again, interesting different transformations for a lot of these guys in the Technobots, which is one of the reasons I do like them so much. You know, they feel very different from a standard combiner character. The red and the white rocking very, very hard here. If anything, it gives him the look of a futuristic aerial bot. Like if the aerial bots had a Cybertronian mode, here you go. Like here's Slingshot, a little bit of orange to him and all. And almost has a personality close to that too, now that I think of it. It's a cool figure. I love the overall look. Maybe a little bit simple in the robot. He kind of gets standard stuff, like the wing silhouette for the jet. But still works well. The nice thing about him is that those pieces can actually come off and form proper longer weapons for him. But he also has the standard pistol, which he, unlike his brethren, can actually hold normally. So yeah, he's very well armed in the robot mode, where the others can't really use their weapons because it's a different port size in their hands. He is fully armed at all times, which is kind of cool to see. So those are your 4 smaller bots. And from there, we need to bring in the leader of the crew. Now, this is where you're going to have to forgive me because this one has seen a lot of play and a lot of age. So obviously there's a lot of yellowed plastic in the middle. There's also going to be, like you can see, that broken piece at the top. I also have no idea what happened to the plastic that is now pink. It's supposed to be that shade of red, but why the pelvis and the fists started like separating and like leaching color, I have no idea. Maybe I played with it in the bath as a kid or something, because this shouldn't be in such bad shape. But one day I'll probably get around to replacing him, but at least he survived my childhood, and now he gets to be on the new review stage. And I'll tell you, Scattershot, I absolutely love this jet mode. It is just a big space cruiser full of weapons. You can imagine that as a weapon. You can imagine that as a missile. He would have a double barrel blaster up there if it wasn't broken. You have the blaster there. You have the blaster on the underside. And then you have the best feature ever if I hit this button. And another huge blaster. This is about as heavily armed as an Autobot ever got, and it's awesome. He's just a flying weapon platform, and it's amazing. Huge thrusters in the back, too, which make him look like a really powerful jet on top of everything else. So, he does have something of an emplacement mode, which is pretty simple to get him into. Like, it's literally just kind of that. So, he can just kind of form like anti-aircraft, which kind of simulates the faux base modes that the combiner leaders had during the 2nd and 3rd years. But this one obviously is just designed for weaponry. You're not going to have any kind of like ramp play on this one or anything. So to transform him, and this is a cool transformation, but you have to make sure you do it correctly. Otherwise, things can look very awkward in the robot mode. Go see the old Plastic Addict episode for that. But what you need to do is just fold down this and then fold up the robot mode to make sure that it goes in the same direction as that hinge. It can be done you can accidentally rotate them in the reverse order and get a lot of details wrong. So this is the chest piece. This has to be on his front, meaning we're going to have to turn him counterclockwise at this point in order to position him correctly. Raise that up, put that down to the back. The fists actually come out easier if you do it while he's at a diagonal. That way they stay out of the way of the hips. So do that. Go ahead and raise that up. The fists fold down like so. Chest piece folds down, head folds up. And that is Scattershot in the robot mode. Again, fun, different transformation for a combiner character, which automatically just makes me like him a lot more. A little bit awkward, a little bit, right? Because, like, you know, because of the way these work, like, it's hard to get his arms to look straight down. They're always bent in some positions a little bit, but we work with what we can in G1. I do like the overall look behind him, though. Like, he does have a nice, powerful look to him with that big chest. The visor eye, you know, the wide shoulder look, works really, really well, I think. The guns that are currently pegged into his shoulders are actually on the combiner joints, so you can rotate them forward or upward if you like that look. I'm going to go ahead and remove them because we're close to having to combine all these guys together. So, yeah, overall look around. He does have a little bit of junk going on. That's G1 for you. But nothing too bad. Nothing too bad. I don't think it compromises the overall look. I like the balance of the maroon, the red, and the white. Or I would if the white was still white and the red was still red. Yeah, so it's a little bit funky. It's a little bit funky. I still love it because it's the one I grew up with. But yeah, if I want a nice set of Technobots, this is the one I have to replace sooner than later. Also, this is where he is missing his rifle, unfortunately. It's the one piece of this entire combiner I'm missing. But till then, I can just show you, yeah, he does have full shoulders up, they can go vertical hinges on those. And if you rotate his piece, if you rotate the back piece down, you can get a waist joint out of him, which is really rare for G1. Also, hips go forward, knees bend. That's part of the transformation, but hey, like, that actually makes him a lot more posable than a lot of G1 figures. More posable than most of the combiner leaders, especially. But speaking of, I think it's about time we get to the real business here. We need to combine all these guys into Computron, and I have to hope that I framed all of this correctly so that I don't have to reframe here. All right, so first off, we're going to go ahead and get all of these smaller bots into their limb modes. Now, they can form both arms and legs, both left and right side, but I am going to go with the official combination on these guys, which for Afterburner means he's going to become the right arm. So where is my right fist? Should be around here somewhere. There we go. He's pretty simple. Like, it's really just his robot mode ready to go like that. Nosecone is going to become the left foot. The feet, at least, are symmetrical, so no worry there. I believe all I really have to do for him is double hinge his arms upward like that to get him out of the way, and then fold his legs back down to get him into a tighter position. Speaking of tight, oh my god, that hinge. That hinge. Ooh boy. Ooh boy. And I'm going to go ahead, and since he's going to be the right leg, I'm going to go ahead and put it on the outside peg so the feet don't clash to each other. The other leg is going to be Afterburner. This is going to be weird. So Afterburner is actually going to go this direction for the leg mode, and he's only got one peg, so his foot's going to be central. So it's a little bit odd how this ends up working, but that's just kind of how this design works overall. It's going to look a little bit awkward, but hey, G1. I keep saying, like, G1 engineering. Like, that really is the reason for a lot of this. And for Strafe, I'm going to make sure that his head is in the correct position to be the left arm. I'm going to go ahead and fold up his wings in the opposite direction. And then we're going to move the arms into their correct position. So make sure all this is at a 90-degree angle. Close it back down. Make sure those hands end up inside those big red pieces. That's going to lock everything into place. There we go. And then he gets the left fist, which goes right there. And that's going to be him ready to go too. All right, Scattershot, your turn. So, for you, I need to return your hands into your belly section to make it an even bigger belly section. Rotate that back, and now the hips are going to help hold those in place. Knees are going to fold up like so. And I am going to clip in this torso piece, which does absolutely nothing until we get to this point. All right, Nosecone, you get to form the left leg. Lightspeed, you get to form the right. I might have to reframe just a little bit. We'll work with it. Strafe goes on to the left. We go Afterburner on the right. And we're going to finish it off by attaching the helmet like so. And there we go. That is Computron. Yeah. Yeah. So, aside from the variety and the different vibe that these Technobots create individually with their unique transformations and futuristic looks and the different types of vehicles they go with, I love the balance that Computron hits when it is fully combined. You've got the colors laid out just right for me. It's still giving off that vibe of a G1 combiner team with the different colored limbs. You know, this is predominantly red. We got predominantly white because that's going through the middle. Got the brown down here, the orange down here. But it's balancing each other really well, especially when you have it in this arrangement. And it's all being held together by that white that kind of is like a through line for all 5 members. It's a really well done team. It balances really, really well and gives you this final robot that actually has a really unified look. And really, you have to go to Devastator or Predaking to get a unified look out of a combiner. This is really the only Scramble City that does it really well, with maybe the exception of Superion. But I think this one does it better. Okay, someone's going to mention Piranacon in the comments section. I'll give you that one too. Okay, point being, it's a really good looking set. Now, he does come with a lot of junk in the back because Scattershot is just kind of kneeling on his teammates for this mode. But imagine them as thrusters if you want the cannon still there too, if you can figure out how to use that. Obviously, the only articulation he's going to have is going to be the shoulders, which, you know, move upward like so, which I'm always scared to do because 40-year-old hinges. Now, the fists themselves, and now you can see, like, there's a lot of available ports if you want to start adding the weaponry back in. You can make them look very heavily armed. That's another thing about this team. It is a very, very heavily armed team for Autobots. But I think he looks best with just his standard rifle, which is the one part I don't have. But there you go. That is my favorite combiner team of all time. And yeah, you can kind of see why. Variety's there. The unity is there. It hits so many nice balances. And just that futuristic aesthetic I really, really like so much. So that, my friends, is G1 Computron. And yeah, all 5 of the Technobots. It's my favorite team for a lot of reasons. Not only because 2 of them survived my childhood to become my adult collectibles, but also just the magic of how I got all three. And that's an old story I told a long time ago. Point being, this is set, this you see before you was meant to be. So this is going to go back on my shelf in a place of pride, and I am going to go start making another video for you guys, as I always do. So thank you everyone for watching, and thank you for making that request to let me give, something a little bit special today. I will see you next time.
Hello everyone, I am Astral Agent Magnetar, a Tokusatsu VTuber, and I am streaming 4 times a week over on Twitch, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday afternoons, and a special late night one on late Friday/early Saturday. So come watch, come hang out, and let's make an impact together.